Tantor Audio, a division of Recorded Books, presents First In, Last Out, Leadership Lessons from the New York Fire Department by John Salka, Battalion Chief, FDNY with Barrett Neville. Introduction by Dennis Smith. Narrated by John Salka, Battalion Chief, FDNY. To my parents, John and Louise Salka, the first real leaders in my life, for the years of guidance, advice, and example that impressed upon me the importance of honesty, integrity, and family. To my wife Dawn and children, John, James, Maureen, Brian, and Colleen, who have endured my hours, days, and weeks of study, travel, and work while I pursued my goals, and who each inspire and motivate me in his or her own special way. To the members of the FDNY, past, present, and future, who perform the most dangerous and unpredictable job on earth with pride, enthusiasm, and professionalism. I would like to specifically honor the men of Ladder Company 11, Rescue Company 3, and Squad Company 1, three companies that I was formerly assigned to, whose members, as part of the 343 members of the FDNY, were killed in a line of duty protecting the people of New York and the United States on September 11, 2001. To Billy, Andy, and Oreo, whom I think about every day. Acknowledgements. We'd both like to thank the Fire Department of the City of New York for its cooperation and assistance, the peerless team at Portfolio, particularly Adrian Zuckheim for his sustaining vision of the book, Will Weiser for his marketing prowess, and Stephanie Land for her insightful edits. A very heartfelt thank you goes to Bernadette Malone, our editor, whose enthusiasm, graciousness, and sharp talent helped us bring it all together. Joe Perez for the memorable cover, and Patricia Boza for her skillful production editing. Dennis Smith for his thoughtful, elegant introduction, and Vincent Dunn for kicking things off. And finally, our agent, Christy Fletcher, who championed the book and whose gentle encouragement made it possible in the first place. John would like to thank the people and organizations that have had a positive and lasting effect on my personal and professional development are almost too many to list, but I will try. I want to thank the officers and members of the Mineola, New York Fire Department, where I wore my first helmet and rode my first rig, the Titusville, Florida Fire Department, where I collected my first fire service paycheck, and the South Bloominggrove Fire Department, where I first attained the rank of chief. My colleagues and friends in the FDNY, especially Mickey Comboy, Freddie LaFamina, Mike Dugan, John Keenan, and Jim Murtaugh, have been a constant source of inspiration, satisfaction, and admiration during the past 24 years, and have played a major role in my achievements and contributions to the job. Thanks to my friends outside the FDNY who have taught me so much about the things we do, especially Butch Cobb, Mark McLeese, and Fred Endricat. Many of my most enjoyable and enlightening experiences in the past few years have been while working with the A-Team, my group of friends who are also firefighters, instructors, travel partners, and problem solvers. Thanks to Danny McDonough, Chris Delicio, Miles Gebauer, Rick Tanagretta, and Tom Woods. I don't think too many people navigate successfully through life without the assistance and advice of a select group of people, and I am no exception. My inner circle is a small group that has never let me down. Thanks to Jay Jonas, Marty Monahan, Rich Blattis, and Rick Lasky. I cannot say thank you without mentioning the officers and members of the companies in the FDNY's 18th Battalion, where I have learned more than I have taught, and where I have reaped more than I have sown. Their enthusiasm and professionalism make me prouder than I can express. Almost every FDNY officer gets promoted through years of studying, and most of them achieve this with a group of other guys that are also studying. My study group had a tremendous impact on my career and my rise through the ranks of the FDNY. Thanks Mike Wilbur, Ralph Fago, Bill Moore, Rich Picciotto, Pete Shovlin, Billy Byer, Kevin Lochran, and Tony Palazzola. Thanks to Harvey Eisner of Firehouse Magazine and Bill Manning of Fire Engineering Magazine, who both allow me to occasionally add my 2 cents to the dialogue of the ever-changing and most noble of professions, firefighting. This book would not be possible without the creative talents of Barry Neville, a fine writer and leader in his own right, whose contributions and concepts are apparent throughout this book and are deeply appreciated. Barrett would like to thank Laura Tucker, Stephanie Jones, Justin and Sarah D.R. Cole, Rich and Kelly Lobel, Mimi O'Connor, Amy and Damian Diapolito, Patty Leach, Jennifer Spry, Janine Fazio, Marie DeGiorgio, Jeff Roven, Brian Boucher, Michael Roven, Shep Boucher, Richard Sillett, and my parents and grandparents, Neville's, Boutzes, DeSales, Ruths, and Hoffmans, for their enthusiasm and support. John Salka for offering me the chance to work alongside him and witness firsthand the power of a truly generous and inspiring leader. My wife Jessica, to whom goes my deepest thanks and love. Without you, I'd still be staring at a blank page. Introduction. What makes them do it is a question I have been asked hundreds of times in the course of my travels through the United States and other parts of the world. It is a natural question. Why do people run into burning buildings that they know just might be the most dangerous locations in the world? It is not by accident that the universally accepted metaphor for hell is an inferno, and no one understands this concept better than our firefighters. Fire is a terrible confrontation, and it is always imminent. It can easily grow to twice its size with every minute an object is aflame. Yet the firefighters go in. They have a job to do. They are trained and motivated, certainly, but most of all, they are led. Who leads them, and how do the leaders come to be within the organizational structure of fire departments? Let me tell you my own story. There were 3 goals in my mind that day so many years ago when I first took the oath of office as a New York City fireman, before the term firefighter came into common usage. No one had given me that job. I had studied for intelligence examination, and I had exercised regularly enough to pass the physical test, and then some more so I would distinguish myself. But from the moment I was sworn into the ranks of New York's bravest, I began to feel an indebtedness that I continue to carry today. For the department placed me among the smartest, most focused, most inspiring leaders that exist in any organization. These men, now men and women, gave me a sense of myself, my capabilities and limitations, that enabled me to succeed at just about anything I have since set my mind to do. In the beginning of my fire service career, I did not think of leadership at all. I did not think about being an officer or a leader. I had no lofty desires. I just took stock in the fact that I was a New York City fireman. I knew that I had the best position in the world, and I was just happy beyond words to be in the job. The novice firefighter is called the probie, and when I think back to my days as a probationary fireman, and then through my early years of firefighting, every experience I had and every memory I retained seems to have reinforced the 3 goals I held as I raised up my hand to be sworn in. First of all, I wanted to do a good job. I realized I was part of an organization, part of a larger group of firefighters in which life and death depended on what I did. I knew that mere seconds could often determine if a life was saved or lost. Every firefighter internalizes that fact from his first day of training. There is no time to second-guess a decision when fighting a fire. In the emergency services, a course of action has to be right from the moment it is determined, and that takes significant education, training, experience, and a willingness to be certain of and accountable for your decisions. Not many organizations have such an overarching mortal importance in their missions, but that's why the training of leaders in the fire service is so fundamental in its day-to-day operations and so crucial in its consequence. No organization will succeed if it doesn't provide potential leaders with the strong guidelines and mentoring to figure out for him, or herself, how to progress positively in a career. In an organization like a fire department, a lack of leadership policy will kill people. I learned all this in the first few days of wearing the uniform, and the structure of the department's management made me feel secure in the nation's most dangerous occupation. I knew my supervisors, the lieutenants, captains, and chief, would do everything possible to keep me focused on my mission and to keep me safe. It was obvious from the
Sample complete. Ready to continue?